Hey, welcome to the first of 3 videos, some top 10 tips and tricks for PowerPoint. While some of you may have seen some of these features, I'm hoping somewhere along the line in one of these 3 videos you might find something a little bit different that you might find useful. PowerPoint tip number 1, to remove some background. What we're going to do is to go up and we're going to insert a picture. We're going to select from some stock images. These are royalty-free images. They load up from the net. We have options up here. We've got images, icons, cut out people, some stickers. Let's scroll down and find something that's interesting. Here's a pretty little flower. Let's insert that. Once we're in there, what we do is we go up to picture format and we have an option over here to remove background. You can see here that it's removed quite a bit of that background already without doing anything. But what I want to do is to be able to control that a little bit better. So now what I've got here is I can choose areas to remove, and we'll pick that flower there to remove. And we've got an area down the bottom here that you can see that's cut off this flower. We want to make sure that we keep that little bit of an area. So if we just click within that area a couple of spaces, when we're finished, we hit keep changes, and there's our cutout of our picture. We can resize that, etc., etc. See along this edge here that it's not quite right. There's a little bit of that background image in there. If we go back in, what we can do is mark areas to remove. We could enlarge this so we can get in a little bit closer. If I just draw a little line across that edge there, tidies it up a little bit, and there we have it. Background removed. PowerPoint tip number 2 is to edit a shape. If we go up into our Insert tab, find our shapes. Let's grab a square and pop our rectangle, pop our rectangle in here. Now what we have the ability to do now is to go back up into here where it says Edit Shape, come down to Edit Points. If we click on one of these corners, we see 2 little white dots come up where we can actually manipulate the sides of that rectangle and do all sorts of things within that design. Pretty cool little tool. PowerPoint tip number 3 is morphing. I remember showing this 12 months ago now, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually morph a 3D model. So if we go up to the Insert, grab a 3D model. My favourites are some of the dinosaurs that are options here in this folder. Let's grab this big fella. And once that model loads up, we can spin, we can twist him, we can resize him, we can scale him to anything we want by manipulating here. See the bottom, see the top view of him. What we'll do is to pop him down into this bottom corner. And what I'm going to do is to copy this slide a couple of times. You can see I've made a couple of copies over here. If we go to the second one, we're just going to move him along here. We're going to spin him around to the front. We're going to make him a little bit bigger. And then finally, our third one, let's bring him all the way over here, spin him around this way. Let's have him walking down a little bit, and let's make him much bigger. We'll go back up and we'll select these 3 slides, go up to our transitions, and here we select morph from our transitions. Now we're not going to see anything instantly, but if I go into the slide view of this, here is our first slide. Move to our next slide and he morphs to the second position and then morphs into that final position. I'm sure you can find lots and lots of ways that that could be incorporated into your presentations. This one I'm going to call enhanced morphing. Just going to start with a simple shape. Our rectangle here. Let's create another page, another slide, and let's just put a circle onto that page. Whoops, make it a little bit bigger. So if we use the morph tool between those 2 slides now, up to animations, morph, let's have a look at what that looks like. It would just be the rectangle morphing into the circle. But what I want to do now is I want to go back and click on that rectangle. I go to Home, Arrange, down to Selection pane, and what I'm actually going to do is to rename that rectangle. I'm I'm going to start with 2 exclamation marks, and we'll just call this test. I go to my circle and name it exactly the same. So 2 exclamation marks and test. I select those 2 slides. My transition again is morph. So now what happens when I play my slideshow is my rectangle morphs nicely into that circle between the 2 slides in that presentation. One that I just learned about, fantastic little tip here, control drag so that we can copy. So here we have hello written in a text box. So if I hit the control feature, you can see that my cursor now has a little plus sign on it. So if I just drag that, I've got another copy of exactly what was in that text box. Here's an image over the side here, click on it, hit control, drag down, and I've created a duplicate. Yes, I know it's easy to cut and paste, etc., but that's a nice simple little way of copying anything that's on our slide. Design ideas. I use this quite frequently. We see kids using this to fancy up their pages. So let's just go back. We use control. Let's make 2 copies of that cool little bee. Our design ideas we can actually find on this home tab over here in design ideas. So there they are over the side, and it gives us a whole different range of formats that we can turn that very, very simply and easily into some really cool design ideas. If we're not happy with the ones that show us, we can always go down here and click get more ideas, and they'll keep popping up down the bottom here. Top tip number 7, for those interested in QR codes, embedding QR codes. Yes, I know you can go to external sites, but there is an add-in that we can use within PowerPoint. It's called QR for Office. So if we go up to Insert, Add-ins, if I go in and have a look in my add-ins, I can see that I've already got QR for Office within there. But for those using it for the first time, we go in and we click Get Add-ins. Into the search bar, we simply type QR for Office and hit enter, and there it is there to add. Now let's say we want to add a QR code to this page. So if I go up here to add-ins, my add-ins, open this one up, it'll open up down the side. And let's say I want to link it to our MN Connect homepage. Up here we have a few options. So if I'm going to select the MN Connect page, I would type in mnconnect.cloud. It would generate my QR code down the bottom here. I can change the color of it, etc., etc. I can change the background. I can change the size of it. And when I'm ready, I hit insert, and there is the QR code ready to scan in my PowerPoint, directly into my PowerPoint without going to any external sites. PowerPoint tip number 8. This is a fantastic one. Natasha in the HISI department will love this one. We go into insert chart. Instead of inserting our bar graph or line graph, we're going to go down here and we're going to select map. We're going to insert a filled map. So we click OK. In comes our map with an Excel spreadsheet. Just taking a little bit of time to load here. So there's my Excel spreadsheet, and it's already got some data loaded into it from different countries around the world. And you'll see in a moment that my map populates according to those numbers. So let's say we only want Australia. We go in and we delete some of this data, and suddenly I'm only left with a map of Australia. And I can take this down even further now. I can go down into the states of Australia. Let's put, it doesn't accept New South Wales as in NSW. We've got to type the whole lot in. Now we can start putting some individual data in for each of the states. Let's pop Tasmania in there because they're the ones that are often left out. And let's give them a value of 6. And you'll see that it automatically populates. Now we've also got the options to go in and change what our chart title is, etc., etc. There's lots of other things that we can do there, but I'm sure our HISI department would love that little feature. Cool little feature. Tip number 9 is our dictate and translate. First of all, our dictate button is found on our home tab. We can go in and set the language that it's going to dictate to, and at the moment we've got it selected as English Australia. I'm going to insert a text box, and let's see how it's going to work for us. Hello, hello. Now we have it working. Hello, I live in Australia. New line. You can see how it tells it to go to a new line. And while it's not completely 100% accurate, it is pretty good. And when we're ready to finish, we just turn it off up here. The other option we've got over here is our translate tool. If I highlight this text here, hello, I live in Australia, go to our review tab and hit on translate. I can translate that little phrase into pretty much any language I want. Over here, I've got it set to go into Thai. I can change that to go the opposite way. Let's swap that back around. But also, I've got all of these other languages that I can use. When I found the one that I want, I hit insert, and there we have it, translated into our other language. PowerPoint tip number 10, and the last one for today, is our quick alignment tool. A couple of other things we'll go through as well. If I highlight those three objects on that page, go up to my home tab, to the arrange, what I can do now is to align those at the top of the slide. I can align them to the middle of the page. I can go align them along the center of the page, etc., etc. Now you can see that's not very nice the way that's done it, because I aligned them along the middle and then went centered. They've all ended up on top of each other. If I select one of those objects, I can clear them out. The other thing I want to show you is sometimes when we've got boxes, they'll pop in and they'll hide behind other boxes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move that hello to the front, so that now when I bring it across that little box, I can still see it. The other thing I'll show you is what I can do is to put these two objects together now, so that they're actually treated as one object. So if I go back up into my arrange, I hit my group button, it now treats both of those objects as one. If I want to ungroup those again, it's a simple click and I've got my hello back out of that box. So that's video number 1 complete. Video 2 and 3 in this series will be out soon. I hope you enjoyed it.